to SBR TV. I'm Peter Loshak. This is our Monday football opener show that we do every Monday with John Ryan, SBR contributor, and from John Ryan Sports. We're going to cover the divisional round of the NFL playoffs now. John, how you doing?
I'm doing good, Peter. How about you?
Yeah, I'm doing good. So last week I had a bunch of winners in the NFL. How'd you do in your thread on the forum?
Well, I think I ended up about 1-4, but the one I won was a big time play on the over in the Denver game. So we managed to recoup some, but it was a losing weekend in football.
All right. Well, last week, on the experts show, we discussed the playoff games, wild card games. We came up with some pretty good leans that all wound up winning. This week, though, now the games get a little tougher. Now the lines are looking a lot tougher. You have like the bye weeks involved. So let's just look at these lines. I'm not sure which ones are going to move, which ones might have some value. They're looking like very tough lines to me. New Orleans, San Francisco. New Orleans -3 on the road at San Francisco. It's -3, -135, a total of 48. You think that line's going to move anywhere?
Yeah, I do. I think that one's going to go up.
Do you think so?
I kind of expected that it was going to come in at 3 after the way the Saints played. But the public is going to be enamored with them now. I think the Saints have won 8 straight against the spread. They did look very, very good against Detroit, but this is something I'm going to look at very closely because I'm not sure how many times a bye team has been a home dog.
Right.
In the playoffs. So that's something we want to look at over the next couple of days. But I'm already seeing 4.5 at one of the books now.
Yeah,
at -110. So this line is clearly going to go up.
Then Denver, New England. How do you handicap this game? New England's a 13.5 point home favorite. Denver, of course, usually great as an underdog of any number. Now they're a huge underdog, but you look at the game they played New England. That was a much debated game a few weeks ago against New England. People were wondering where the value was, how it was going to turn out. Of course, New England blew them out by 18 on the road. Now they're at home, 13.5 point favorite. They're off of a bye. Denver's off of a short week. I guess you got to think this line's going to go to 14. What do you think?
Well, I think you're right, Peter. The most amazing thing is we just played a game with, granted the Steelers were banged up, but they're a very good AFC team, and the total was 33.5. Now, Tebow has one game where he really did let it go, as John Elway had suggested, and he had a tremendous game throwing the ball. And now all of a sudden the total's at 51.
Right.
And I'm having trouble understanding, with a line of 13.5 and a jump of 18 points, I have a hard time understanding that. It's going to take a little bit of research.
All right, well, those two games I wouldn't touch at all. Then you got Houston, Baltimore. Houston is a 7.5 point underdog. I was very high on Houston last week, and in general, I'm pretty high on them. But, now they're coming off of Baltimore has their bye week. 7.5 is kind of a big line, but not that big. I guess I would lean Houston here plus 7.5, but not strong enough to bet it. I kind of lean towards the over, though, at 36. That seems like a very low total. I'm not sure why it's so low. What's your take on those lines?
The early money here has been on Houston. Now, whether it's the sharps or it's just early bets, I'm not sure. But the line I'm seeing at 7.5 now pretty consistently across the board. About 60% of all bets being made so far have been on Houston. So, Baltimore has a great defense again this year, and it'll be interesting to see how that matchup unfolds. But I do think Houston has the tools to be able to make this a very close game. I don't think this is going to be a double-digit Baltimore blowout.
Yeah, I kind of agree. I would lean Houston plus 7.5. I would lean to the over, but probably not strong enough to bet it. And then you got the Giants at Green Bay. Giants an 8-point road underdog, 52.5 total. Again, Green Bay is off of a bye. Giants, as we mentioned, have been getting a lot healthier on defense and in the run game. So it was no surprise to me, at least, that they won. That was another pick that I really liked last week. Again, I'm not sure what to make of this line. Not sure where it's going to move. You think it'll go to 10 or go to 7?
It seems to be drifting lower, much to my surprise. Close to 70% of the bets so far have been on the Giants, which to me takes a little bit of guts to do this early in the week because we know what Green Bay can do. Whether they're banged up on the offensive line, whether they have issues in the secondary, they have one guy named Aaron Rodgers. And, it is quite interesting that the early flow here is clearly and heavily on the Giants.
Right.
So it looks like this line's going to probably level out at 7.5, maybe even 7. And then the Green Bay money, I'd be all over Green Bay at 7, I think, if I could get it. But whether you could get it or not, I don't know.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm definitely personally not going to be taking any of these opening lines. We'll see what the experts have to say later in the week. Thanks so much, John Ryan, and good luck next week.
You got it. Thanks, Peter.